Miami's going to the Swamp. This will be their first meeting since the week 0 game in Orlando a few years ago. And I just feel like this game should be played every year. It stopped in the 80s. Florida stopped it. Their feeling was the SEC schedule's tough. Miami's awesome. This was when Miami was on top of the world, and Florida was not yet on top of the world. Steve Spurrier had not arrived yet. And so Florida stopped the series, but this really should be picked back up permanently. I know everybody's saying, well, don't make schedules more difficult. And I realize if the SEC goes to 9 conference games, it's probably never going to happen. But the excitement surrounding this game has been so much fun. Seeing those two fan bases go back and forth at one another. Because remember, they recruit against each other. They see each other all the time. They live among each other. But they rarely get to play. So the bragging rights just pass back and forth, every so often. But it should be every year. Florida State play every year. Miami and Florida State play every year. Why not add Florida Miami back to that mix? But this particular meeting especially feels apocalyptic. Mostly because whichever coach loses is in deep, deep doo-doo. Think about this. Billy Napier at Florida, Mario Cristobal at Miami. They were hired within 8 days of one another in 2021. In both cases, they were promised more resources than either school had ever devoted to football so that they could build a bigger staff than either of those football programs had ever seen, so that they could compete in today's environment, in today's college football, for national championships. In both cases, the coach has not lived up to expectations. The degrees of disappointment are different. I think Florida fans probably a slight bit more disappointed in Billy Napier's first 2 years than Miami fans were disappointed in Mario Cristobal's first 2 years. But they were both disappointed. Neither one has gotten what they want. There's really not a signature win. I'd say Billy Napier's best win at Florida was his first game. They beat eventual Pac-12 champ Utah at home. Miami, for Mario, I guess it's beating Clemson last year, but at that point, I believe that was Clemson's 4th loss of the season. I think that dropped Clemson to 4-4. So I don't know that at the time that was viewed as a signature win. Both of them better known for gaffes on field. Florida repeatedly sending 10 guys out to the field goal block team throughout the season. Mario not taking a knee against Georgia Tech. Like, those are the moments that everybody remembers. This is the chance to create a positive affiliation. This is a chance to beat somebody head-to-head that you got to beat. The problem is only one of them can win. The NCAA instituted overtime in 1996. So one of them is going to lose, and it is going to be very ugly. Very ugly for the coach that loses. I have a column about this at On3. And basically, this is the Spider-Man meme playing out on national television. These two guys came in the same boat, came in promising the same things, and now they get to face off. And it's interesting because they've been competing for recruits. They've been compared to one another all this time. They've never gotten to play. And now they get to play. And it is a fascinating scenario because it does not matter what happens. There's a massively boiling hot take to come out of this game that may not ultimately mean anything because it's week 1 and we don't know, like, are these two really good teams playing? Are these two bad teams playing? Are these two mid teams playing? Is one significantly better than the other? We don't know. So we are going to extrapolate from that one result all manner of things. But I can tell you right now, it's a 2.5-point spread. Miami's favored on the road. But this feels like a game where any outcome seems possible. Like any outcome. Close Miami win, close Florida win, blowout Florida win, blowout Miami win. They all feel possible. And all of them are going to produce lava takes. Because both these fan bases have spent, and the chat's a great way to discuss this. Because so when Jesse and I picked the games the other day, we picked Florida, Miami, and before we picked it and after we picked it, the chat was just one after another, Florida and Miami people going back and forth. And that's how they feel. So both programs, both fan bases feel like their program is the superior program, but also that the other coach's shortcomings will allow their program to win this game. So the Miami fans think that Billy Napier will allow Miami to win this game, and the Florida fans think that Mario Cristobal's game management skills will allow the Gators to win this game. You don't always see this. Sometimes it's like, well, my coach is just so much better. He's going to out scheme your guy. Nobody's saying that. Not a single person is saying that in this game. It's your guy's going to mess this up somehow. Now, this gives Mario Cristobal and Billy Napier a chance to be the one who goes and takes it, to be the one who does out scheme the other, who comes away from this with some forward momentum. Like, hey, this is what we've been doing. We're getting it right. We've made changes. Our trajectory is where it needs to be. That's what one guy is going to be able to say on Saturday night. Another guy is going to get a bunch of questions that he just can't answer at that point. It's like, hey, you've had 3 years to do this. What is taking so long? What is the problem? Today's show brought to you by Rhoback, the makers of the best hoodies, polos, crew necks, long sleeve crew neck today. Love it. RHOBACK, the performance hoodie, my favorite piece of clothing. I've got a bunch of them. 2 have been stolen by my daughter. I've only got the one long sleeve crew neck, and I'm a little concerned that my son might steal it as he is growing. He's not my size yet, but we're only months away, maybe a year away. And then all of a sudden he's raiding my closet. This is one I would imagine he will have his eye on. I'm going to have to protect it or probably buy some more. You can make your first Rhoback order. Get 20% off that first order with the code Andy, RHOBACK.com, Rhoback.com. Use the code Andy, 20% off. Load up on hoodies, polos, quarter zips, joggers, shorts. They got clothing for the ladies too. Great for the golf course, for the tennis court, for the bar after the golf course and the tennis court. You know what to do. Use that code Andy for 20% off your first order. RHOBACK.com. And again, this could be based on a 3-point differential. But that is what is going to happen. That is what is going to happen. If we're looking at the 2 guys from 30,000 feet, Cristobal's roster overhaul seems like it has been more complete than Billy Napier's. Cristobal has gotten very good line of scrimmage recruits over the past couple of years. Also supplemented that by big spending in the transfer portal. Cam Ward, Damian Martinez, Michelle Powell. These are the guys that they've gotten out of the transfer portal that they feel like can help them immediately. Cam Ward is the big one. There's a lot of excitement about Cam Ward. If you watch Cam Ward at Washington State, there are moments where you're like, oh, he's going to be the savior of the Miami program. There are other moments where you're like, he's going to throw the ball to the other team. So the question for Cam Ward is, was that because of the talent around him at at Washington State? Or is that the quarterback he is? Are we going to get that kind of Jekyll and Hyde situation at Miami? We don't know. At Florida, the hope is pegged on DJ Lagway, who is a freshman quarterback who is not the starting quarterback. Graham Mertz is the starting quarterback. I do wonder if we're going to see DJ Lagway some in this game, but Graham Mertz is a capable quarterback. He actually was pretty good at the end of the season for Florida last year. Now, his season ended when he was dump trucking somebody at Missouri and broke his collarbone. But I thought Graham Mertz played well. I thought Florida's defense was pretty terrible. They gave up too many big plays. They couldn't tackle. That was the problem. The hope is Jamar James back healthy. You bring in Pup Howard from South Carolina. You bring in Asa Turner from Washington. Suddenly, you tackle better. A lot of those bigger plays don't happen. But we'll find out. Mike G says, this is the Help I've Fallen and I Can't Get Up Bowl. I like that title. I've been going with Pitchforks and Torches Bowl because, again, the fan base of the losing team is coming after the losing coach. They are going, I don't know if this is working here. Two different situations, of course, because Miami can't afford to fire Mario Cristobal. Florida can't afford to fire Billy Napier. So Cristobal doesn't have to show improvement, but unless you want a situation where you're just sort of running out the string and everybody hates you, you got to start winning some of these games. For Napier, it's a little more urgent. Like you gotta win some of these. And for Napier, I think reasonable progress is 7-5. 6-6, you can make an argument, especially if the 6 losses are close and you're competitive against teams that are making the playoff. I think anything below that is unacceptable. It's the University of Florida. You don't go under 500 3 years in a row. You got to have a standard at some point. You got to have a standard. And I realize they've cycled through a bunch of coaches, but if you go under 500 3 years in a row, including years where you had the number 4 overall pick in the draft at quarterback, that's who you are. You've told us who you are. But if you take the hardest schedule that we've seen in a long time and you go over 500 and you're competitive against teams that are going to the playoff, then that is the upward trajectory you're looking for. So that's Billy Napier's mandate, is can you prove that you are on that upward trajectory, that when DJ Lagway takes over, it will be a team that is prepared to compete to be in the college football playoff. That's the challenge there. And I think Billy Napier would have a lot more optimism surrounding him if that class of 2024 had actually held together. The one that they had over the summer that was ranked in the top 5 before 6 top 200 recruits flipped to other schools, had that held together, I think there would have been a little more positivity. But right now, there's a lot of negativity. And worse with Florida than negativity is ennui. That's your word of the day. If you don't know what ennui means, but I know all of you do, because you're all nerds like me. It is essentially, oh well. It's apathy. It's a specific brand of apathy that is really bad if you are in the college football business. Producer River asks how to spell ennui. That would be ENNUI. That's our national spelling bee situation. ENNUI. Wait, ennui. 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 There. Did it that way. So the apathy that has settled in over Florida is the worst part of all this. Because if they're still mad at you, it means they still care. You do not want everyone to stop caring. So the good news, I guess, with Florida, if they don't win this game, is people will be very mad, judging by how everybody's acting before this game. So that's good. Everybody still cares. That's a good sign. Miami, I think, is in danger of a little ennui settling in if they lose this game. I don't know that it goes mad, because again, they can't fire Mario Cristobal. So if they lose this game and they lose it badly and it looks like they're not, even with that very easy schedule this year, that they're still not going to be able to compete for the playoff. That's when the Miami fans are like, well, we can't do anything about this. What's going on here? So again, Miami's got to win. Florida's got to win. Mario Cristobal's got to win. Billy Napier's got to win. Unfortunately, only one can win. Now, I picked Miami to win this game on our pick show the other day. Jesse Simonson picked Florida. We have a piece of new information. On Tuesday, Florida released its season hype video. They made an editorial choice in the season hype video that past schools have made, and it has helped them. Producer River, play that video.
We hear you. We hear all the doubt.
This is impossible.
The most difficult schedule anyone has ever seen.
We feel the weight of your expectation. We sense the pressure, the anticipation, and we love it.
We welcome the challenge.
This is why you come to the SEC. This is why you play at Florida, is for the matchup. You want to play at the highest level against the greatest competition.
So go after like your life depends on it. Go after like your family depends on it. Gators on me, Gators on 3, 1, 2, 3, hey. You're in a special place that has history, that has tradition. Flip the switch. No fear.
We're just more looking to prove ourselves right.
We know what people are saying, but we're here to strive together to go win.
That's right. They put your boy in the hype video. The last team that did that was 2021 Alabama before the SEC championship game, and they beat Georgia. I believe they had a clip of me saying, there is no way Alabama can beat Georgia. This was the Georgia team that went on and won the national title by beating Alabama in Indianapolis in the national title game. But Alabama did beat the heck out of Georgia in the SEC title game there. So again, putting me in the hype video, at least historically, helps you win games. Just saying. Now, they may have just gone with graduates there because the other person in the video was ESPN's Jeff Darlington, a fellow former independent Florida Alligator gymnastics beat writer like me. Jeff covers the NFL. I'm not entirely sure what he was talking about there, but they were probably just making fun of him as a Florida grad because Florida had that schedule. Lisa in the chat, editing a video doesn't win games. Miami has episodes too. Means nothing. Does Miami have any with me in them, Lisa? I don't think so. Now, I know some of my friends down in Coral Gables might just cut something together real quick. If they're worried it might cause a problem, if they're worried that might actually mean something, there's plenty of clips of me talking about Miami too. So if that's a problem, I think they can fix it. But no, Lisa, historically, and I realize my sample size is small, but historically, putting me in the hype video leads to an upset. Just saying. It's just math. It's just science. The truth asks, are you the good luck charm, Andy, or are you a bad omen for others? Oh. This is like a glass half full, glass half empty situation. Or the classic talk radio thing. Was it a great comeback or did the other team choke? I think we know the truth to this. The truth. I'm a bad omen. I'm not a good luck charm. I jinxed Georgia in that game. Willie says, if y'all want any more videos in any fashion, hit the like button. That's right. Now I'll keep making them even if you don't. But we do want to make some hype videos. Like, we'll say some outrageous stuff this season. We will wind up in other hype videos. Don't worry. This show will find its way into multiple hype videos. But so far, just Florida. We'll see if my record is intact. Will it stay perfect when Miami visits the Swamp? Or do I drop to 500? That would allow my pick to be right if Miami wins. So I don't know where to go on this one. But I do know that Mario Cristobal has to win. Billy Napier has to win. Only one of them can win. So come back Saturday night for the molten, blazing hot takes Either way, the swamp will be electric, and either it will continue to be electric and they will play Party Rock Like a Rock Star by the Shop Boys while everyone cheers, or it will be very quiet and the Shop Boys won't get played. We don't know what's going to happen yet. That's the beauty of all this. Cannot wait for Saturday. Cannot wait. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.